Welcome back to the I'll Read What She's Reading podcast. I'm Kennedy.
I'm Reggie.
And I'm Michaela.
And today we are going to be helping you listeners to become readers if you aren't a reader, because we recognize maybe not everybody likes to read as much as we do.
Yeah, and maybe you want to be part of our book club because you want to hang out and you want to be part of it. But you're like, I don't like to read. I hope the book that we picked will get you guys reading.
Yes, don't forget to be reading Verity because we're really excited to talk about it. I feel like there's so many gas moments in that book, so we'll be discussing it all in the next
few weeks.
Yeah.
It's a good book to start on. We just wanted to start by telling everyone a little bit more about our reading journeys. I know in the first episode we kind of touched on that, but it's kind of fun to listen to everybody's reading journeys because I feel like us three, we have completely different journeys as readers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think anyone can become a reader if you want to be.
Oh yeah.
So that's what we're going to chat about today.
Let's start with our veteran reader today. Michaela, how about you share?
Guys, okay. I'm sorry,
Michaela?
my dog is in the background.
We love him.
He's looking outside. So my mom, shout out to my mom, has always been a reader her entire life. I don't think I've ever seen her without a book. She always has a book. But when I was like in 5th grade, my parents found out I had dyslexia. And so I had to take a special class to learn how to better read and comprehend what I was reading. And ever since then, I have become an avid reader. I love reading. I've been reading.
5th grade.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
I love that. Also, for everybody out there who says, I can't read, Michaela beat the odds.
I'm proving you guys that you can.
You can do it.
You can do it. No, but I definitely have hit like walls when it comes to reading. There's been months and months of breaks where I haven't read a book, but I probably started reading like avidly like 2 years ago and I can't stop.
How many books have you read?
It's close to like 150 in like 2 years.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so
impressive.
many books.
My reading goal this year is 100. I'm at 21 right now, so
How many weeks
You
are
can
in a
do
year
it.
again? Is there 52 weeks in a year?
I think it's 2 books a week is for me to reach my goal.
Well, and you also read long books. It's not like you're
Yeah.
reading 200
Well,
pages.
I'm reading
Well, think of what you've read so far this year. I mean,
really long books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I do it, so I don't know. It's been really fun. My list is so long, so I think I'm not going to stop anytime soon when it comes to reading, especially with book talk.
Oh my gosh. And there's so many books out there. Sometimes I get overwhelmed thinking about how many books are out there in the world, and I'm never going to be able to read them all.
I know my to be read list is like where do I even start when I want to read a book next? I'm like,
It's overwhelming.
there's so many.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
So that's kind of my story. Let's hear Reggie's.
I can't remember what I like shared last week about this, but I've always enjoyed reading, but it wasn't until I became a mom and I was nursing and I just like had a baby attached to my chest all the time and I had to like just sit there and do nothing but feed my child that I was like, I'm gonna just read a book because I hated sitting and scrolling on Instagram the whole time and I just felt like I was mindlessly scrolling on things I didn't need to be doing. And so I just, luckily the first book I picked up was a good one. I'm trying to remember. It was probably a Colleen Hoover book.
Classic.
You can't go wrong. And so it was easy read. It was entertaining. And so then I just I'd finish one and then I'd start another one. And I read a lot as a new mom. And then I did go through a little slump where I was working so much and I wasn't reading as much as I wanted to. And then my friends were starting to read a little bit more and I was like, okay, I'm going to get back into reading. And sometimes a book will kind of ruin it for you because I don't know about you guys, but I'll read a book that I'm kind of I didn't really love that one. And so then I just don't have the desire to read another book. You know what I'm saying?
It's a reading slump.
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
that's pretty much becoming a mom really is what made me read more. So if any moms out there, if you're I don't have time to read because I have children. I mean, if you are nursing, feeding your child, good time to read.
Even 30 minutes.
Yeah,
After
that's
you
all
put
you
them to
need.
bed,
Yeah.
you can just go
Mhm.
sit and read for a little bit.
I
You
think
deserve 30 minutes to yourself as a mom.
Yeah.
At least.
Oh yeah. And I feel like one thing that will help you get into reading is just like making it part of your routine.
Oh, yeah.
So my biggest thing is, and we will probably talk about this a lot, but I mean, being on your phone before bed is not
Not
the
great.
best thing for you. So it's a nice way to wind down at night for me. It's just to like read, even if I'm just reading like 10 pages, it just like winds me down for the night.
Okay, but also let me just set the scene for you guys who don't read. Draw yourself a bath.
Yes.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
You get yourself a drink.
Yes.
You get yourself a treat. You grab a book.
Light some candles.
Light some candles.
Ooh.
Sitting in the bath with a book.
The mood.
a vibe.
Unmatched.
So
Try
unmatched.
it. You'll thank me later.
That sounds so nice.
Right? Shut the door if you're a mom. Don't let your kids in. If you're a
Shut
dog mom,
those kids
shut the
out.
door so
Just
the
kidding.
dog doesn't lick out the water. Same thing.
I love it.
It's wonderful.
It's so
Make
wonderful.
romanticize reading.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yay. I love your journey with reading, Reggie.
Thanks, it's great. Honestly, stoked to have another kid because I'm gonna be like, oh, sorry, can't talk right now. Gotta go feed my baby
And read.
read my book.
Awesome. Okay, let's hear Kennedy's little story into reading.
Well, I am the newest reader here. I've only been reading since August of last year. I think you guys legitimately the last book I had read before August was probably Hunger Games when I was in high school.
Oh my gosh.
I think I was a sophomore in high school. I was never a reader. Like
Wow.
never was really my thing, didn't really care. I have a really hard time like not focusing, but kind of like it's really hard for me to just sit and do quote nothing.
Yeah.
And then I was spending like 3 hours a day on TikTok and I realized it was really unhealthy and I needed to replace it with a different habit. And so actually, thanks to Book Talk on TikTok, I saw It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. And so I bought it,
Ho.
Mm-hmm.
read it, and I've been hooked ever since.
So good.
It also helps that you guys are readers. So I feel like
Uh-huh.
you guys would tell me about books you were reading and then I wanted to read them. And now I think I read like 25 or 27 books from August to January of last year.
It's crazy.
And then this year I've read, I think, 27 books.
yeah, you've read so much this year.
I'm
That's so
obsessed.
cool.
I'm so proud.
You are proof that anyone can read.
And also, I feel like I think you guys feel the same way. Reading significantly helps my mental health.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
The fact that you get to just kind of transport out of your own life for just maybe even a half hour and read about these characters,
Mm-hmm.
so great. When we're in the middle of busy season, we're so
Mhm.
busy, you're so stressed. There's nothing better than just like taking a bath, reading your book.
Decompressing. Well, and then think of all the things you're replacing that time with. Like, maybe it's not like scrolling through social media, but maybe it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like there's not, if you have like time in your day that you want to spend doing something, reading is good for you.
It is good
For
you.
me, it's like a sort of escapism.
Yeah.
And I kind of get to forget about all the stressful things in life, with like work, and you just get some time for yourself, and
Mhm.
I get to escape into the world of the book I'm reading, and it's my favorite thing ever. So
Well, and I think we talked about this last week too, where like you take almost like, this sounds super cheesy, but you take pieces of the characters that you love and almost like make them a part of who you are too.
Yeah, it's like after you go see a movie and you're like, if you like, for example, if you go see The Hunger Games, you come out of it and you're like, I am Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah.
I want to shoot
Like,
a bow and arrow.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that same energy, like after you finish a movie and it just like makes you want to be a better person or makes you like, more motivated or whatever. I feel like books do the same
and
thing.
there's so many genres out there. Like
So
there is
many.
a genre of book for everybody. If you want to, I don't like self-help books, but if you want to improve yourself, maybe read a self-help book. Or there's fantasy, there's historical fiction. There are so many different genres out there that you can find one that you like. Or even if you find an author, for example, Colleen Hoover, if you guys want to start reading, is one of, I feel like, the easiest authors to start reading because
Yes.
they're easy to read, they're pretty short, and they're romance novels. Like,
Yeah, they're pretty fast paced too. Like
mhm.
like we were saying last week with Verity, like you read the first line and you're like, I have got to
Let's
finish
go.
this book right now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
No, I feel the same. She's a lot of people don't like her, but I think her books are easy to read and are entertaining.
And
They-
I think that's why there's so much hype around her. Too.
Yeah. They may not be the best books you ever read in your
Mhm.
entire life, but I feel like it's a start.
Oh yeah.
If I were to go back and maybe read some of the Colleen Hoover books I read at the beginning of starting reading, I probably might not like them as much because I've read better writing now. But if you're not an avid reader, it's such a good place to start just because I feel like they're so easy.
Mhm.
I love it. Okay, so we were wanting to share some of our tips on how to get reading. We've also looked up some articles. We're trying to
Did
get
a little
all
research.
scientific.
Going scholarly on your books.
So, Reggie, do you have yours pulled up?
Yeah. So the first thing I thought of, personally for me, like for how to get into reading, I feel like it just depends on obviously like the kind of like the book you pick up, because you could pick up a book and say, oh, I'm gonna read this book, I want to become a reader, and then you don't like the book, and then you're like, okay, I don't like this, I don't want to keep reading. So I feel like it kind of depends on the book that you start with. And if you're not sure where to start, like what kind of book you like to read, my first advice is to think of like what kind of TV shows and movies you like to watch,
Love it.
and then find books within that genre. So like if you love like a rom-com, I would be like, I could tell you right now, like, oh, you would probably love like Emily Henry
Mhm.
or Colleen Hoover,
Mhm.
or you know what I mean? I feel like I could give you some suggestions. Get on Goodreads, search all their different genres on there. If you love like action packed stuff, I mean, I don't know, maybe you don't like fantasy action, maybe you like more like talked about the Renegades series, like superhero action.
Mhm.
Marvel fan, you'd probably like the Renegade series, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't read it,
100%.
but I would just say like think of the kind of TV shows, movies you like to watch, and find books that are within that same genre. It's a good place to start.
I love that. I pretty much love everything, so I'll read everything.
That's a good problem to have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really great advice, and I also think trying different genres, you
Yes.
never know what you're gonna like. Once again, we talked about last week how Reggie didn't think she was gonna really love fantasy, and then I think it's kind of growing on her a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like you never know. And then also, it is obviously easier when you read books with your friends, aka us.
Yes.
We will be your friends and take you through all of the books we read. So surrounding yourself with people who also like reading, and you don't even have to like the same books. I know I have a very different taste in books compared to Reggie, which is totally fine, because I love her suggestions, and I took her suggestion from The Silent Patient, and I loved the book. I wouldn't have read it if Reggie wouldn't have recommended it to me. So taking recommendations from friends and kind of surrounding yourself with people who like reading is a lot easier to read, I feel like.
I feel like too, kind of along the same lines, if you don't know a lot of people maybe in your area, or if you don't know people that like to read, start a book club. Like start your own little book club. It's a really cool way to socialize with people in your area, and also it's almost like free. I mean, I've never played Bunko. Have you guys ever played Bunko?
No.
I love Bunko.
It's like
so fun.
it's like this, I don't know if it's out anywhere outside of Utah, but basically it's like this thing where you get together with a whole bunch of women once a month and you play this board game. I don't know if it's a board game. It's a game.
It's like a game with dice.
And
or
anyways,
something. I don't know.
a book club would be kind of the same thing. You all read the same books. You go get dinner once a month, and yeah, because it's way more fun reading with your friends.
It's such a bummer feeling when you like watch like a really good movie or you read a really good book and you want to talk to someone about it, but like no one's read it or no one's watched it, you know? Like for example, like I just finished watching Daisy Jones and the Six, and it's like been so fun to talk to Kennedy about the show because we both read the book, we both watched the show. But like had I read that book and watched that show and I didn't know anyone else who had like read it or watched it, I'd be like just begging someone like please, you know what I mean? So it's really fun to have people that you can talk to about things like that. It just makes enjoying so much more enjoyable.
I mean, this is kind of a tangent, but our friendship literally started because we all were talking about Spider-Man and going and
Yeah.
seeing the Spider-Man
Oh
movie.
my gosh, yes.
And then we started Marco Poloing each other about Spider-Man, and
yeah.
now we're friends.
Oh my gosh.
Now we're starting a podcast.
Now we're starting a book club podcast. There's a theme here.
There's a theme. Awesome. I wanted to share a tip that has helped me is literally chucking my phone across the room.
Oh,
yes.
A
That's Yes,
phone
yes,
can be so distracting. A vibration, you can't help but like turn your phone over. I feel like this happens to me too often, but like my phone vibrates and then I'm on my phone for another 30 minutes and I'm like,
Where did that time go?
Yeah.
I was supposed to be reading my book.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't want to, but phones are just so distracting. So I literally have to put my phone in the other room and give my attention to reading, because I feel like if you're going from your phone and then reading like a couple pages and then going back to your phone, I feel like you can't really enjoy reading that way, you know?
Oh, yeah. I have like you know how like your notification center, you can choose like different, like do not disturb
Oh,
and
yeah.
sleep.
Oh,
There
yeah.
is
Yeah.
one you can make for reading.
I need to do
And
that.
Oh, I
I will
didn't know
turn that one on, because sometimes it's like I need my phone by me if like I'm waiting for a phone call from someone. So like I have mine set so it's like a custom reading one. So if I'm like reading on my phone, like if anyone listening, you read on your phone, like the Kindle app, Libby app, or whatever, if I'm reading on my phone, it automatically turns it on for me because it knows I'm in a book app.
Yeah, that's pretty
And then like calls from specific people or text messages are allowed to come through, but I don't get like notifications from anything else. It's really nice.
cool. Yeah. I need to use
So-
that. I don't use that.
I don't either, but I really
usually just-
should.
I put my phone in the other room.
Yeah.
Or in like far enough reach that I can't reach it, and I'm a lazy SOB, and if my phone is not within reach, I'm not moving from my comfy reading position. Ain't no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I love it. Also, another thing I just want to add real quick. I love being cozy and reading. So like throwing on sweatshirts, a nice blanket.
Mhm.
I can't ever read in my bed because I fall asleep so quick. So read wherever you feel comfortable. I'm really excited for it to start getting warm and like putting a blanket outside and like
Oh my
Oh,
god.
laying out in the
reading.
Yes.
I'm so excited for that. But yeah, make like just find romanticize
Yeah,
reading. Like once
romanticize it.
again,
Yes.
either if it's like a cozy vibe or you know going outside or by the pool. The
Oh,
pool
yes.
opens.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I'm so excited. So yeah, that's my other tip. I'll stop talking now.
You can talk
No,
all you
that's
want.
great.
Stop it.
That's a really good one.
I think another good way to like dip your toes into reading is maybe listen to audiobooks first.
Yes.
I love and hate audiobooks because sometimes I feel like if I'm doing anything while I'm listening to an audiobook other than driving, it's hard for me to fully comprehend the information. But audiobooks typically are a lot cheaper than physical copies, so that you're not spending as much, you're not investing as much in reading. But I feel like it's a good way to just like get you in the mindset of like reading without reading.
Oh yeah, yeah. 'Cause some
Yeah.
people don't want to like sit and flip through a book.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's better. Like if you really enjoy listening to podcasts,
You'll
you
love
would probably
audiobooks.
love an audiobook.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really not much different. It's just like, I mean, I could sit here and tell you guys the story of my life, but you could just read a better book about someone else's life.
Yeah, I drove a lot last year and I listened to a lot of audiobooks. Make sure you like the voice, because if
Oh,
the
yeah.
voice is annoying to
Mhm.
you,
Good point.
it's going to be hard to like get through an 8-hour
Yeah.
audiobook. But I actually have listened to like 3 of Colleen Hoover's books and I really liked listening to those ones. I've read a few, but I've listened to a lot. And I think those ones are really fun to listen to. So I love audiobooks, but I also love reading physical books.
Ugh, I never thought I would want a library. If you would have said, hey, a year ago, if you would have been like, Kennedy, are you ever going to want a library? I'd be like, I don't want physical books. Like, I don't want that clutter in my house. Now all I want is a whole entire room
Yeah.
Dedicated to
full
books.
of books. Full of books.
My dream.
Literally.
My dream.
And also, this is kind of a random tangent, but not really. My mom has always been a reader too, but I never was. She would give me, I actually love this a lot. She would give me, every time she gives me books, she handwrites inside the front cover like a note to me.
That's adorable.
And so I feel like something cool, I don't know why I'm talking about this. This is such a random tangent. But something cool that I'm going to do is like for the people who, like for my mom, for example, every year for Mother's Day or for Christmas, I'm going to give her my favorite book that I read that year that I think she would love.
Cute.
And like write a custom note in there and tell her like why I loved it or why I think she would love it. So if you have a reader friend, that's a really good gift.
That's so
That is
cute.
a really good gift. I do.
I love that. I got, for Christmases, my mom would get me books, and I just loved it. So, I know books are expensive, but you can ask for, if you don't know what to ask for like birthdays or like Christmas, you can ask for books.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great way to collect books, is just asking for book gifts.
Well, and back on the conversation of like finding people, like buddies to read with or being part of a book club, it can be really nice.
Okay, guys, sorry, random tangent. My voice sounds like really scratchy because I went to a Taylor Swift concert, so please don't judge me. Reggie's taking an iPhone photo of tissues up my nose right now.
We love it.
It's a vibe. Oh my gosh, okay. Let's continue, shall we?
Anyways. Oh, I was going to say, if you have like reader friends, it's kind of fun because you can just like for example, my cousin one day took a picture of her like books that were sitting on her little shelf, and she was like, feel free to come check out any of these books from my library anytime. And I was like, wait, that's so fun, because she has a lot of books that I don't have, so it's nice to be like, here, you can borrow my book,
Yeah.
I'll borrow yours.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Borrowing's the best. I've borrowed
go to your local library.
few books from Reggie. Sweet Kind Angel, when I was on my deathbed.
Always sick.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I was just bragging a few months ago. I never get sick. 2 months straight.
Look at her now.
Going strong. I think it's our winter in Utah that's making me sick. So
Yeah.
I need sunshine
Winter.
ASAP.
Same.
Same. Also, if you, on the tangent of reading, if you don't want to invest in books and in reading, there is an app called the Libby app.
Oh, it's the
You
bomb.
can go in and get a library card at your local library, and it's all online. They have audiobooks for free, like books, not physical books, because you use
E-books.
thank you, an
Yeah.
ebook on your phone. And it's a free way to read books. You do have to wait sometimes.
Yeah, you
and
have to like
sometimes
put
it's
them on
long,
hold.
But if you're not wanting to spend a lot of money, Libby is awesome.
Yeah, it's free. It's easy. Get a library card. Just like how fun. Just go to the library, pick out some books, check them out. Cute little library card.
I love it.
Love it.
Library date.
Oh my gosh, cute.
I would love to do that with all my friends. We need to go to Barnes and Noble.
Oh yeah.
Also, Goodreads is like so fun. I love going and rating the books
Me
and
too.
writing a review.
Me too.
I feel like that just adds to the reading experience. Can
Oh,
you
it
guys
really
take me
does.
seriously? Yeah. Because I can't take myself seriously. But I love reading Reggie and Kennedy's reviews on books. It's like literally whenever I'm bored, I go on Goodreads and see, have they rated or reviewed anything recently? Literally,
No,
that's what I
it's
do
so
in my
fun.
pastime. Is
Or seeing like things. So if you like mark something like, oh, I want to read this book, and if someone you follow, it's really fun to be like, oh, like I saw Kennedy wanted to read Me Before You,
Mm-hmm.
and I got so excited because I was like, wait, I have the physical book of that. Like you can borrow it from me. It's just fun way to talk to people.
and if you don't have any friends, we'll gladly be your friends on Goodreads.
oh yeah,
100%.
add us.
And it's cool too because I feel like you can go and see, I don't know if you guys do this, this is my toxic trait. If somebody, like if I see a book recommended on Book Talk, you can go on and read other people's reviews as well. You can see the average rating to see if it's going to be a good book or a bad book. So maybe not a bad book, but usually the books that are heavily rated highly by other people and by a lot of people are usually pretty good
Mhm.
books.
And
Yeah.
you can choose like when someone writes a review, they can put if there's spoilers in it or not. So you should hopefully not get any spoilers by reading anyone's review.
Yeah, Book Talk can sometimes be the worst because I feel like we get a lot of spoilers
Yeah.
on Book Talk, and sometimes hate that. I really appreciate the people on Book Talk who put like spoilers,
Me
and so I
too.
can swipe really fast. But the people who don't, it makes me so sad. Depresso. I'm
Yeah.
like, I hate knowing what's gonna happen. I love not knowing. I
Yeah.
love not knowing anything. I'm really bad and usually don't read the back of books.
She just-
Actually, I don't either.
I think that's cute. Just pick it
Because I just absolutely love not knowing what goes on in the book. So
I love,
I love that.
yeah, it's fun. I think it's fun. I think it's fun going into it not
Completely
knowing.
blind, yeah.
So that's also something you could try. Maybe don't recommend it for first time readers, because if you absolutely hate a book, don't blame it on me.
Okay, well, let's talk about this. Have you guys ever not finished a book?
Yeah.
Yes.
One.
Because I feel like if you're a first time reader, my thing is I will give a book, I think it's like 20%. I will give a book 20% of the book, and if I don't enjoy it after 20%, I won't continue reading it. Because a lot of the time, if you can kind of get through that first 20% where it's like introducing all the characters, setting up the plot, setting up the place it's in, whatever, a lot of the times you can end up liking the book. There's been a few times where I will read a book and I've not enjoyed it, and then after 20%, I'm like, wait, I'm actually really enjoying this book.
Mhm.
But there's no shame in not finishing a book you don't enjoy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's also no shame in hating a book a lot of people loved.
Yep.
Um,
I'm only laughing. Not saying 'cause I hate it, but like since we're reading Throne of Glass right now, and
there's shame in that right now, Reggie. Shame.
yeah, so I just have like had a harder time getting into Throne of Glass. I liked ACOTAR a lot more, and I was like feeling really guilty a lot of the time I was reading this last book and the start of this one, because I was just like, they're really loving it, and I'm just having a harder time with it, and I was feeling guilty about it. I'm like, wait, it's totally fine that I.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If anything, I feel bad. We're forcing you to read it.
Oh no, I really am enjoying it. It's just that I think I'm just not enjoying it as much as I thought I would, and I'm comparing it too much to ACOTAR, and I need to stop.
Yeah, they're two different books, but I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I absolutely get it. I just also am a really big fantasy girly, so it's a lot to handle if you're not. So
Yeah.
there's no shame in liking books and disliking books that your friends like did or didn't like. So
There's a book for everyone out
yeah,
there.
I promise. So if the first book you pick up, the first book you pick up, and if you don't like it, please give another book a chance.
Mhm.
I promise there will be one book that you at least give it 3 stars, I hope.
Yeah.
Unless you just hate reading absolutely, and then I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know why anybody would ever hate reading, just because I feel like it's so fun.
Oh, I love it.
There's a book out there for everyone. There's a genre out there for everyone. I'm dead set on that.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
good for your health. What was that study that said people who read, there's a study that did
Live longer. Just
yeah,
kidding.
no, really.
Yeah,
is it
really.
Let me look this up. Hold on.
That's so interesting that, well, I think it's just so good for your brain. I feel
It's
like
like exercising your brain.
I can talk more smarticle because of the words I
Your
read.
vocabulary gets better. Yeah.
Yeah. My vocabulary it's not great in general. My education is very minimal. Didn't finish college. But I feel like I learned so many different things from books and reading.
Okay, so this study said, I can't find the one that I was thinking of, but it did say that people who read do live like X amount of years longer. But that's beside the
I
point.
believe it.
It does say that researchers found that a reduction in stress of up to 68% in people when silently reading a literary work for only 6 minutes. 6 minutes.
That's crazy.
That's like a page.
That
Just
is a
kidding.
page.
It takes you
Yes.
6 minutes to read one page. Just kidding. Literally, I think
There's so many benefits to reading, which
So many.
we've kind of touched on. But I think we should end the episode with maybe a book recommendation that we would give somebody
Yes.
to get them into reading.
oh my gosh, this is so much pressure.
Now, I'm only saying this, and this is the world's most basic answer, because I have recommended this series, and you guys already know where this is going.
I know where it's
okay?
going.
I have recommended this series, no joke, to probably 10 different people who don't read, and they have told me how much they have loved this series, and it's made them want to read more. And basic girl answer here, and I'm sorry, but I promise I'll stop talking about this series eventually. It's A Court of Thorns and Roses, you guys.
Yes.
It's good for a reason. It's pretty easy to get into. I don't feel like there's anything fantasy wise that's wild and crazy. It's a romance. It's action packed. You'll love it.
It's so great.
That is a good one.
Love Sarah and
She's
the
a queen.
emotional damage she gives me.
Emotional damage.
Seriously.
Michaela, what would you recommend?
Oh my gosh, I literally have no idea. Well, I'll just read something that I've recommended to a few friends who have really liked it. So if you enjoy The Bachelor, it's a young adult series. It's only 3 books. It's called The Selection. I think, I don't know when it came out, but I think I read it when I was a freshman in high school. I know it sounds super cheesy, but I was obsessed with the series. And they're making, I think Netflix has the rights to the series, so I'm hoping they do it justice. But it's called The Selection, and I think it's a pretty easy read. They're really short books, like 200 to 300 pages, which is pretty short. So it's literally like The Bachelor.
It's on my list.
It's
Yeah,
really
same.
good. I'll just do a little explanation. It's a prince. He needs to find a wife, and they don't call them districts. I'm on the Hunger Game things. It's kind of like they have 25 like districts in their country, and they pull slips of paper from everyone, like puts themselves in, and they pull slips of paper, and each girl that's put in gets chosen to be in the selection. So
I'm sold.
it's really entertaining. I don't know. I was trying to think of something different from
Yeah.
what we kind of talked about last week. So it's really fun. Love The Selection.
I honestly, my first thought was The Hunger Games, which I haven't read those in so long.
They're good though.
I don't even know. I mean, I know a lot of people are probably like, I've seen the movies, like, but I mean, if you haven't seen the Hunger Games movies, I think the Hunger Games books are so good. Like, that is, I don't know. I loved them.
It's a classic.
But if you are someone who likes true crime and you like thrillers, there's an author. Her name is Frida McFadden, and if you have a what's it called, Kindle Unlimited account, you can get all her books for free on there. But her books are really quick reads and they're awesome. They're very intense page turners. Like, you're not gonna want to put it down the whole time you're reading it. The Housemaid is the first one I read of hers, and I really enjoyed it. It's just like a thriller, really easy, like grasps your attention from the very start. And they're pretty quick books too. They aren't like very many pages. So if you like true crime, you like thrillers, her books are a really good way to start. I've read 4 of hers. The Housemaid was the first one I read. The Inmate's also pretty good. But yeah, she's a good author to start with for thrillers.
Those are on my list as well. So I'm excited
She's
to
great.
read those.
Really good.
All
It's
right.
so fun.
It's our mission to get everybody to be a reader, and hopefully after listening to this podcast, you have maybe a little bit of a desire to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
If
given
you pick up a book, we want to like know. Message us and
Yeah.
tell us what books you're reading.
and tell
Add
us if
on
you liked it. I
Goodreads.
promise I won't be that mad if we recommended a book and you hated it. Because there's been books that these two have loved a lot, and I didn't like them as much, which is totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally fine. So I'm really excited to hear all of your guys' adventures with reading, and hopefully if you're not a reader, you get started.
Yeah, we want to hear all about it. So follow us on Instagram and TikTok at What She's Reading Pod. And give us a rating review. Subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already, because we appreciate it. Shout us out on your Instagram stories. Give us all the love, please. Just kidding.
We are begging for it.
Yes. Yeah, thanks so much for listening.
Yes, thank you so much.
Bye.
See you next Wednesday.